The text in Matthew starts like this: "Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand." Those words were spoken about Judas, but they could have been spoken to anyone. They could have been spoken to John, to Peter, to James. They could have been spoken to Thomas, to Andrew, to Nathaniel. They could have been spoken to the Roman soldiers, to the Jewish leaders, or to Pilate, to Herod, to Caiaphas. They could have been spoken to every person who praised him last Sunday as he triumphantly entered the town on a donkey, but abandoned him this night. Everyone turned against Jesus that night. Absolutely everyone. Judas did. And we still ask, over 2,000 years later, what was your motive, Judas? Why did you do it? Were you trying to call his hand? Did you really want the money? Were you seeking attention? Why, dear Judas? Why? He was your teacher. He was your rabbi. And why did it have to be a kiss? You could have pointed to him. Just pointed to him. You could have called out his name. But you put your lips to his cheek and you kissed him. You kissed your friend. Everyone turned against Jesus that night. The people did. The multitudes, it says, turned on Jesus. And we wonder, who is in the crowd? Who are the bystanders? Matthew says they were just people, just regular folks, like you, like me, regular folks. They had bills to pay, they had kids to raise, they had jobs to do, and individually, they never would have turned on Jesus. But collectively, as a group, they wanted to kill him. Peer pressure, mob blindness, even the instantaneous healing of an amputated ear didn't change their minds. Everyone turned on Jesus that night. Even the disciples did. And as Matthew wrote those words we just heard, all the disciples forsook him and fled. I wonder, did he write them slowly? I wonder, what kind of guilt did he feel when he wrote those words? What sort of sorrow? Because he was one of them. All the disciples were. Jesus told them they would betray him, and as he sat at the table in the upper room, he said, "Tonight, all of you will desert me." They let him serve them wine and bread. They vowed they wouldn't desert him, but they did. And when the choice came between saving their own skin and saving their friend Jesus, they chose to run. And when they saw Jesus going down, they fled. They fled. Even the religious leaders, my friends, turned on Jesus that night. Not surprising. Disappointing. They were the spiritual leaders of the nation, men entrusted with dispensing goodness, men who were role models for kids, pastors, teachers. Injustice, plain and simple. Everyone turned on Jesus that night. And though the kiss was planted by Judas, the betrayal was committed by everyone. Every person took a step, but no one took a stand. And as Jesus left the garden that night, he left alone. He left alone. because the world had turned on him. Friends, whether here or online, take a few minutes, close your eyes, reflect on all those who turned against Jesus.